There is a secret 5th sage in Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. Finding this sage and completing their quest will unlock a mech suit that can be summoned and dismissed at will. All of that will be covered in this guide, and as usual, useful timestamps can be found in the video description. First, a quick but important note on story and spoilers. This guide will contain minimal spoilers in regards to the story. That being said, there are 2 ways to go about finding the 5th sage. The first and more intended way can only be done after completing the Regional Phenomena main quest. Following that, you'll need to complete the Crisis at Hyrule Castle main quest up until you get the Find the 5th Sage quest. You will also need the camera tool, which you get early on in Joshua and Robbie's questline, along with a total of 10 hearts. This is the more story-friendly path, and it's what we'll start with. As a bonus, doing all of this will also involve getting the charged armor set. There's also a quicker but less story-friendly way to find the 5th sage that skips the first part of the quest, and which only requires you to have 10 hearts, and you can skip to the appropriate timestamp below if you want to go that route. Starting with the more intended path where you've actually gotten the Find the 5th Sage quest, we will need to go to Kakariko Village. Near the north side, you'll find Paya and Taro. Now that you have the 5th Sage quest, you should be granted access to the Ring Ruins, allowing you to make your way up to the fragment floating directly overhead. Use Ascend to get inside the fragment and capture a picture of the Ring Ruin stone slab with the camera, making sure to save it. Next, speak with Paya and Toro again, showing them the picture. They will direct you towards the Popla Hills Skyview Tower. If you haven't activated this Skyview Tower yet, you'll hear a man calling for help from the nearby well. You'll need to go through the cave entrance that is south of the tower and rescue the trapped man so he can fix it. You can also speak with Calip here, but all he does is point you towards Dracozu Lake. There, you'll find an entrance to a ruin that only opens as part of this quest. You'll find Toro inside along with a chest containing the charged shirt. Toro will inform you of a riddle regarding the ruins. The gist of it is that we will need to collect the other 2 pieces of the charged set, both of which are downstream. You can take a picture of the chest and then track chests with the Sensor Plus upgrade if you have it, but I don't think it's necessary. Heading down the river, we'll come upon the first treasure room rather quickly. Use a bomb or blunt weapon to break through the rocks, then open the chest inside to get the charged pants. A little further downstream is where we'll find the second treasure room. This time, we'll need to cut through some vines, retrieving the charged headdress inside. You can return to Toro with the full charged set equipped, and he will point you towards the end of the river where a final chamber is waiting. Once there, offer a Zonai charge at the altar while wearing the full charged set. This will remove the storm clouds from the Thunderhead Isles floating above Faron. You can reach these isles by gliding south after taking off from the Popla Foothills Skyview Tower, but only do this if you want to explore because there is a much easier way to reach our goal, which we will cover soon. After landing, you'll need to make your way through the isles, which are plagued by constant lightning. Take off any metal weapons, shields, or bows to avoid getting hit. At the end, there's a spot you can dive off from down onto Dragonhead Island where we will meet the 5th Sage. Now let's talk about the easy way to reach Dragonhead Island, and this is also where anyone that is opting to take the quick path of finding the 5th Sage can join in. You'll want to start from the shrine next to the lakeside stable in southern Faron. From there, build a simple flying machine like the one shown, and if you need more detailed instructions on how to build this, I'll put a link to a dedicated guide near the bottom of this video's description. Once you have that, begin flying mostly up, but also a little bit northwest towards Dragonhead Island. Even if you don't have any upgrades to your energy cell, a single large zonai charge or a handful of regular zonai charges will give you enough energy to reach the island. And if you are doing this without completing the quest steps that start at Kakariko Village, you can still make it. The island will just be cloaked by a thunderstorm cloud, and you'll need to take off any metal weapon, bow, and/or shield to avoid being struck by lightning. Once you are there and safely within the ruins, I highly recommend going into the shrine as it's basically a free diamond and a light of blessing. Afterwards, cut through the vines to the north and approach the zonai door. Opening this door will require you to have a total of 10 or more hearts. Trying to open it with any less will result in a game over. Past that door, you'll find an owl-like head made of zonite. Interact with it to begin the 5th Sage quest in earnest. You'll first need to bring the construct head down to a location north of Dragonhead Island. Fans, wings, and steering sticks are provided, but I just made one of my own flying machines to get the job done. Once you've built a ride, attach the construct head to it and move to the destination. Bringing the construct head to its destination will open a nearby path down to a lift. Bring the construct head down to the lift and attach it to the pedestal to begin descending down into the depths. The lift will bring you to the construct factory. A light route to the south will provide a permanent source of light, whereas the ultimate destination for the construct head is in a frame to the north. Once the head is slotted in the appropriate spot, we'll be instructed to collect the remaining Mech Construct parts from the 4 surrounding depots. We'll start by going southeast to the Left Leg Depot. Once there, interact with the zonai terminal to release the left leg. Grab it with Ultra Hand and proceed to the first lift. Once you've made it up with a leg, push the nearby crank counterclockwise to lower the ramp. Just make sure to keep it mostly angled up. Place the leg on the ramp and fuse one of the nearby rockets to it pointed up the ramp. Then activate the rocket to send the leg soaring to the upper level. There's a spot where you can use Ascend to get yourself up. This next part is optional, but you can line the leg up near the exit of the depot, then attach a rocket to it to quicken the trip back to the construct frame. and perhaps avoid a few bokoblins. The leg's container will disintegrate once near the construct frame, allowing you to fit the leg into the appropriate spot. Next up, let's head southwest to the left arm depot. Once again, interact with the Zonai terminal to release the construct part. To start, activate the nearby wheel to raise the door, and bring along the arm as you pass through. On the other side, drop the arm and shake the wheels free from the door. Once all 3 wheels are free, begin attaching them to the arm container to form a cart, finishing it with the nearby steering stick. We will then use this cart to cross the path of lava. Once across, remove the lone wheel from either side of the cart and then line up the half-sided cart along one of the 2 walls above the lava pit to the north to form a sort of rail system. The key is to move the cart with Ultra Hand so that it is completely over the lava. Once you've done that, you should be able to hop on the steering stick and jerk it back and forth to facilitate a bumpy yet effective ride across the pit. Safely on the other side, shake the wheels free from the arm container and stick them to the door in a similar manner to what was seen at the start of this depot. Make sure to attach the chain pieces, then activate the wheels to open the door. Bring the arm container to the other side and outfit it with 2 fans, which you can shake free from the larger fans nearby. All that's left is to drive the arm container like a boat, steering downstream to the construct frame. Place the arm into its corresponding spot, and we're over halfway there. Now let's go northwest to the right arm depot. You can either fly or use ascend to avoid the gloom-contaminated stairs. Once there, activate the terminal to begin. Start by carrying the arm container up the nearby ramp. I have a vague idea of what the intended solution was, however I solved it a little differently. Attach the small wheels to the arm container one after another, forming a sort of stick. Throw the whole thing into the pit and follow after it. Then hold it by the end of the wheel stick and raise it towards the other side of the pit for a few seconds. Next, drop the arm case and climb up the ladder. Once on top, use recall to bring the arm case within reach, then grab it with Ultra Hand. We can use the wheels and a nearby steering stick to convert the arm case into a cart, then drive it down to the construct frame. The right leg depot is all that remains, and it's a bit tougher to reach than the others. I started by ascending to the top of the main construct factory. Once there, I glided northeast towards a giant ribcage leading up to the light route. If you haven't activated this light route yet, you may need to use some bright bloom seeds to light the way. From there, it's a relatively short trip to the elevated entrance of the right leg depot. Once there, interact with the terminal to get started. Grab the leg container and bring it up the first lift. The next room had an intended solution that involved rails, but I opted to use a combination of Ultra Hand and Recall instead. We need to bring the leg case up one more lift, at which point we'll see our exit. Make your way up to the room on the right to grab a Zonai wing, then bring it near the exit. Attach the leg container to the nose of the wing, then place it on the sloped launch rails, quickly jumping onto the wing before it soars off. Stand to the left on the wing to steer it towards the construct frame and wiggle the leg container off while gliding over. Drop the leg container once you're over the construct frame, then follow after it to complete the mech. In order to permanently unlock the Mech Construct, we'll need to travel southeast and find Minaru's secret stone. You can outfit the mech's arms with various Zonai devices. These are probably pretty good against base tier enemies or even up to blue tier, but once you get to the black and especially silver tiered enemies, they aren't so great. Fortunately, you can still shoot a bow from the mech, and you can always exit it by pressing the B button. I think the most useful device, at least for this task, is the Zonai fan. Attaching it to the Mech Construct's back allows you to sprint full tilt by holding the Y button. If you don't have the depths lit up, you might have a tough time navigating, otherwise it's a pretty clear path to take towards the destination. Along the way, you'll run by the Sejotu light route, which you can activate. A short distance south of that, you'll find a parts pad with Zonai launchers, and I recommend attaching at least one to the mech. It can be used to clear the rocks ahead and also in an upcoming boss fight. After getting past the rocks, our destination, the Spirit Temple, will be in sight. To get up to it, you'll need to attach a rocket to the construct's back. Once up there, move forward and interact with the owl statue to reach the inner sanctum where a battle will take place. If you don't want spoilers, you don't need to watch ahead. Otherwise, let's talk about how to beat this boss, the Seized Construct. Ideally, you have a spiked ball on one hand and a cannon on the other, as the cannon is great for stunning this boss. But if you didn't bring any cannons to the fight, 2 spike balls might be all you have. In that case, either block or parry the Seized Construct's attacks, then strike back multiple times and send it into the electrified wire to cause significant damage. After the first major hit, the Seized Construct will pull out 2 cannons, strafe to the sides to avoid getting hit by the cannons, and move in for another round of strikes. At that point, the Seized Construct will likely drop the cannons. Quickly attach one to either hand, and keep the spiked ball on the other. The Seized Construct will move on to shock emitters, and the only way I've found of countering is to strike first with a cannon blast, followed by a round of punches while it's stunned. And this is basically all you need to do for the rest of the fight. Stun with a cannon, punch away, rinse and repeat. Once you've defeated the boss, you can collect the heart container and the secret stone of Minaru. Doing so will permanently unlock the Mech Construct, which you can summon and dismiss from the key items in your inventory. Personally, I see it more as a mining machine than anything else, as its bare arms can destroy ore deposits, but I'm curious to see what other uses people have come up with. If you want to see more great guides, you can head over to my channel, and if you're new, consider subscribing. You're helping me feed my cat. Her name's Marshmallow. Have a great day if you're here today, have a great Tuesday, and as always, thanks for watching.